Everybody. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki
Bhaktir-bhavati Naishtiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Om Ajnanatimirandasya
Om Jnana-Tinmirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Jnana-Shalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam Yena
Chakshurunmilitam Yena
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Sthapitam Yena Bhutale
Sthapitam Yena Bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Dadati Svapadantikam
Dadati Svapadantikam
Namo Vishnupadaya
Namo Vishnupadaya
Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale
Krishna-prasthaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhaktivedanta
Srimate Bhaktivedanta
Swami Niti Namine
Swami Dinamine
Namaste Saraswati Devi
Namaste Saraswati Devi
Gauravani Pracharini
Gauravani Prachari
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Pashyatya Deshatarini
Paschatadeshatari
Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha
Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa Sindhubhya Cha
Kripa Sindhu
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Namaha
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Namo Mahavadanyaya
Namo Mahavadanyaya
Krishna Prema Pradayate
Krishna Prema Pradaya
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
Namine Gauratushe Namaha
Namine Gauratushe Namaha
Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam
Panchatattva-vadam Krishna
Bhaktarupa Swarupakam
Bhakta-rupa Swarupakam
Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam
Bhakta-avataram Bhakta
Namami Bhakta Shaktikam
Namami Bhakta Shaktikam
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Deenabandhu Jagatpate
Deenabandhu Jagatpate
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Radha Kanta Namoste
Radha-kanta Namaste
Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusute Devi
Vrindavaneshwari
वाचालं प्रकोमनं वैदिकं यत्कृपालं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवतानं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much. All of you have come to this Friday program, Bhakti Vishnu program. So, we have been doing this series, Chaitanya Leela. As you know that on 22nd, it was a very auspicious day. It was Gaur Purnima. And according to Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the Gaur Purnima day is the most auspicious, even more auspicious than Janmashtami. For Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Gaur Purnima is more auspicious than Krishna Janmashtami. Why? Because Krishna is Supreme Lord and his appearance is very, very auspicious. There is no doubt about it. But Krishna, when he came, he kept that Krishna Prem in a seal. It was sealed. And it was not given freely to everyone. There was a qualification. What was the qualification? Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasya me tuduttam. Rajvidya rajaguyam pavitram idam. Krishna says this is secret of secrets. It is the most secret knowledge. But only those people. Why I am telling you this knowledge? What was the qualification of Arjuna to receive Bhagavad Gita? Bhakto sime sakha cheti. Because you are my devotee and sakha, friend. So it is very natural. We don't reveal our secrets to strangers. Right? Till we are stranger to Krishna, Krishna will not reveal us. Krishna is never stranger to us. We consider Krishna stranger actually. We don't want his association. We want material pleasures. We want material wealth. We want pure enjoy. So that is the main reason. Krishna Nityadas Jintaha Bhuli Gila, Ei Doshe Mayatare Galaya Vadila. So what we have forgotten? Krishna, I am Krishna's eternal servant. Krishna Nityadas Jintaha Bhuli Gila. He has forgotten that I am Krishna's eternal servant. And that is the biggest mistake we have done. Ei Doshe, that is the biggest crime we have committed. So there is one God, Ekila Ishwar Krishna, our Sabratya. Everybody is servant. But what happens is that now, if you go to lawyer here in this world, you will have big books on criminal laws, isn't it? Somebody is a lawyer, and if you do this, if you do that, then you are charged with crime, right? You are put in jail. But there is only one crime in the spiritual world. What is that? Forgetting Krishna. The only crime we committed there. Somebody may think, my God, it is such a big crime in the spiritual world to forget Krishna. Yes, that is the biggest crime. That is why the moment you forget Krishna, you are in this material world. Just like the moment you don't care the government and you break the rules made by government, then you are put in jail. But of course in material world, it may be little not so perfect. Sometimes you may do so many crimes and you may escape from the government, prison. But in spiritual world, it is not like that. Everything is so perfect. The moment you forget Krishna, then you come to this material world. And then anati karma phale padi bhavanava jale. Thori bare na dekhi upay. Vishaya hala hale divaneshi diya jale. Manukabu sukha nahi paye. So now, the mistake we committed, small mistake, that forgetting Krishna, then from anadi karma, then from the so many births, we are, fallen in that ocean of birth and death. Anadi karma phale padi bhavanava jale. Bhakti Thakur writes a beautiful song. And tori bare na dikhu paye. We keep struggling in this world. So much of struggle, so much of anxiety. And we don't know how to cross the ocean of birth and death. Keep taking birth. This body gives us so much pain. And Vishaya halahale. You know halahal? Poison. Lord Shiva, he drank that halahal vish. It was so poisonous that even the greatest of the people, even if they smell that poison, they would die. It was like cyanide, cyanide, just put a little bit on the tongue, immediately, some potassium cyanide or something. But you can say that halahal vish is 1,000 times more poisonous than a cyanide. So, how Shiva is great, he drank that halahal vish and he could keep that in his throat and he became Nilkantha. But similarly, the sense gratification of this world is compared to the poison. Because more we are attached to the sense gratification of this world, we have to remain in this world. Come again and again and again and again. So at one moment we have to give up all the attachment. All attachment to sense gratification. Dimanishi Hiyajale. What is this sense gratification doing? Day and night we are just, it is burning in our heart. Heart is burning. At Manukabu Sukha Nai Pai. The mind never is satisfied. So this is the situation. So it is very important to remember, and that was the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And there are so many pastimes, but we have very limited time. So today I will describe very important pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sannyas Leela, because it is very exhaustive. So first we will discuss how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. On what circumstances, why he had to take sannyas. As yesterday I was describing that when he used to do kirtans in Shrivash Angan, so many envious people were there. So you will find everywhere, when you do Hare Krishna, there will be always envious people. They will think, oh, this Krishna should not exist. They are a threat to the society. They make a loud noise. So the people couldn't understand that Supreme Lord has appeared in the Navadvip and it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then every day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear criticism when he used to go to the banks of Ganga, and he was teaching devotional principles. So all the karma kandis, they were very scared of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was distributing the holy name freely. So they were criticizing, you are distributing this holy name, Hare, in the Vedic scriptures it is said Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, I will reverse it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So then everybody can chant. Because one may say that why? Because Vedic scriptures are only meant for Brahmanas. Nobody has the qualification. If you are have a Brahminical qualities, so that's why you will find that most of the Indologists and they make so much wrong meaning from the scriptures. So it is very necessary, because just like suppose you want to go to Harvard University, if you want to go to PhD, so you need qualification, you need a graduation, post-graduation, you have to give entrance exam, then you are allowed in PhD. So Vedas are not for ordinary people. Vedas are for only civilized, very highly qualified people. So you may really, sometimes some people, that's why they hate Vedas, because Vedas discriminate. Oh, Shudras can't read Vedas, Vaishyas can't read Vedas, women are less intelligent. So this type of statement, when the Vedas they make, so people get offended. Yesterday as I was telling, like people then burn Manu Samhita and all these things, they say this is racist book like that. So you will see that in whole Vedas there is only discrimination. He is a Brahmana, he is a Vaishya, he is Shudra, he is Chandala, he is this that. So much of discrimination. He is elevated, he is low graded. But if you don't discriminate, then how will you come to know what is best and what is worst? No discrimination means animal. Animals don't discriminate. Just like hog. You give him halwa or you give him stool. He will not discriminate it. Oh, halwa is very nice. It is cooked in ghee. So I will eat with. For him, stool and halwa made in ghee both are same. There is no discrimination. So if you don't discriminate, then we become as good as animals. So that's why the Brahmanas were criticizing. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respected that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respected the statement of Vedas. Yes, if you have qualification of a Brahmana, then only you can read scriptures. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Namo Mahavaganyaya Krishna Prem Pradayaka Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gotisha. Rupa Goswami writes this verse, Namo Mahavaganyaya, because his heart was so magnanimous. So he had to give the topmost to the lowest, to the most unqualified person. So he had to do something. So he reversed it. First he said Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. But then he started thinking that the people will not end criticizing, and if they criticize me, then they will never achieve the success of life. So 500 years back, the society was very orthodox. They would follow Varnashram system very strictly. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided that I will take sannyas. Because when I take sannyas, then they will respect the sannyasi. Of course, nowadays nobody cares. Somebody is sannyasi, he is wearing saffron clothes, doesn't matter. But that was not the case in those days. In India, society was very conservative, very orthodox, and the caste system was followed. So, even if somebody is a dhongi sannyasi, just like there was a beautiful pastime, the youth pastime, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu had to go to Shantipur. So, before going to Shantipur, Advaitacharya house, they go to one tantric's house. Tantric sannyasi. So he was wearing saffron clothes. And then when this tantric, he saw these two beautiful boys, Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya, he got very attracted. So he called him, please come to my house. I want to feed you. So he called in his house and he started feeding. And then the tantric asked Nimai, do you want bliss? You want bliss? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, what is this bliss? What is he talking about? Krishna Prem bliss? Like that. Then Nityananda Prabhu knew because he had experience of traveling all over India. So he had met different kind of people. So he said, no, that bliss means alcohol. So immediately when he hears that, he says Vishnu and they jump in there. But before that, he says, I would like to introduce to my wife. He was a sannyasi, but he had a wife also. How can a sannyasi have a wife? But still, in those days, if somebody has taken sannyas, people would respect. If they saw sannyasi on the street, they will respect him, they will touch his feet like that. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, I will take sannyas. So when they will fall at my feet, they will get delivered. So in this way, he went to Katwa. In Katwa, there was a very great soul living. His name was Keshav Bharti. Keshav Bharti Maharaj. So he went to him and said, I want sannyas. But Keshav Bharti didn't want to give because he was so young and but still, he convinced, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu convinced Keshav Bharti to give him sannyas. And it was a very sad moment because all the devotees, they knew that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas, then he will not stay in Navadvip. He will go to Vrindavan. He will roam here and there and we will never be able to see him. So they were very sad. And some of his devotees went with him to Katwa. Katwa is in the north West Bengal. If you, today also you can go from Navadvip, you can go by local train. So there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forced Keshav Bharti to give him sannyas. And there was one barber who had to shave his head. And for him it was so painful because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hair was so beautiful. It was long, beautiful, curly hair. And he never had seen such beautiful hair. And to cut that hair, it was great agony for him. But because it was order of Supreme Lord, he was cutting hair and everybody was crying seeing his hair being cut. And today also if you go to Katwa, you will have Kesh Samadhi of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where the Kesh means hair, Samadhi is there. So then when he receives this and he tells, in fact, after receiving sannyas mantra, there is a Gayatri mantra, you extrovert Gayatri mantra, you chant in the ears. So he chants that, and when he was chanting, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him that you should not give me the name, you should give me the brahmachari name, my brahmachari name. You don't give me title, because in Shankar Sampradaya, Advaita Sampradaya, they give different titles like Bharati, Puri, Saraswati, and different many like that. So he said, I want to retain my original brahmachari name. So then Keshav Bharti, he gives the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya to him, because he is Krishna Chaitanya. What is Krishna Chaitanya?
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness. Krishna Chaitanya. Chaitanya means consciousness. So when Prabhupada named this movement as ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that is International Society for Krishna Chaitanya. It is like that. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas, and now he has no hair. He is completely shaven head, and when he takes that name Krishna Chaitanya, he becomes so ecstatic, and he starts asking everybody, where is Vrindavan? I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to go to Vrindavan. Completely in ecstasy, mad after Krishna. He used to go to each and every person. He used to say, have you seen Krishna? Have you seen Krishna? Like, I want to see Krishna. Like, in the mood of Radharani, separation. So then Nityananda Prabhu knew that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not controlled, then he will go away. Like that. So then he guides him. Like he tells, there were some cowherd boys playing on the banks of that Ganga. In Katwa there is also a river, the Ganga flows there. So there he says that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks you where is the road to Vrindavan, you give the direction to Shantipur. Give the direction to Shantipur. Like that. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda wanted to take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to again Shantipur. Because he cannot go back to Navadvip. Because he has taken sannyas, he cannot meet his wife now, his mother. When one takes sannyas, he cannot go back home. And especially he can meet his mother, but wife impossible. He cannot meet once one takes sannyas, he cannot meet. So it was impossible to, Vishnu Priya was wife of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now she had no chance to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu knew that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Vrindavan, then all the devotees of Navadvip will get shattered, they will be in complete sorrow. Many will commit suicide. They will think their life is useless without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu wanted to bring him back to Shantipur, so that in Shantipur all the devotees of Navadvip can meet him again. So he told the cowherd boys that show the and when he got sannyas, so he got from Bharati Sampradaya. Bharati Sampradaya, they are Advaita, so they give one danda, ek danda. So Bharati, Keshav Bharati, he gave him one ek danda. But then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy, Nityananda Prabhu was thinking that what is this, ek danda, this is Mayavad. So he broke that danda into 3 pieces. And then he said that, but even if it is broken into 3 pieces, he is not a devotee, because Tridandi Sannyasi, Vaishnava has Tridandi Sannyasi. So he says he is Supreme Lord, he doesn't need any danda. So he threw it in Ganga. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to his external consciousness, then he asked, where is my danda? Sannyas danda, where is it? So Nityananda Prabhu said, actually in ecstasy, you fell upon that danda and that danda broke. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that it is all, Nityananda Prabhu's naughtiness, He has broken that danda and thrown into the Ganges. So then, what happens is that when the cowherd boys tells him that Vrindavan is to the side of Shantipur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts running towards Shantipur. And when he reached Shantipur, so there he sees Advaita Acharya. And he was completely surprised. He says, Advaita Acharya, you are in Vrindavan? So Advaita Acharya says, no, this is not Vrindavan, this is Shantipur. You have come to Shantipur. So again he becomes very angry with Nityananda Prabhu. Oh, you misguided me again. Instead of telling the road to Vrindavan, you brought me to Shantipur. So then Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya says that don't consider Shantipur different than Vrindavan. This is also Vrindavan. Because in Prayag, the Yamuna and Ganga, they meet. So the left side is Yamuna and right side is Ganga. So where you are standing, that is Vrindavan, he says. So anyway, so the whole purpose was successful. Nityananda Prabhu's whole idea, plan was to bring him to Shantipur. So he came to Shantipur, and then Advaita Acharya, he requests him to stay at his place. So he says, please stay for a few days, then you can go anywhere you want. Please, he begs Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, I will stay at your house. Please give me chance to feed you. So Sita Thakurani, his wife of Advaita Acharya, she makes so many beautiful preparations, so many nice recipes, and they bring so much of prasad to feed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was so much, and it was like he was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as if 10 people would eat that much. He piled so this much rice in front of him, like mountain of rice. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, are you crazy? I am a sannyasi. I can't eat bhogi. Sannyasi has to eat very little. He can't be bhogi and he can't just keep eating like animal, like a cow. Cow, she can eat whole day like that. But no, human beings, we are not born to eat. Our whole purpose is to make our life successful by serving Krishna. So, but Nityananda wanted to mock Advaitacharya. He wanted to make fun of Advaitacharya. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you have given me so much of prasadam, so Advaitacharya says, "Oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, don't fool me. When you are in Jagannath, there you eat so many nice food stuff. There you don't say that. And now here I am feeding you, and you say like this. So it is not fair." And here Nityananda Prabhu says to Advaitacharya that what is this Brahmana? He doesn't know how to feed the guest. He has brought so little prasad for me. This prasad is so little for me. And then Advaitacharya also tries to mock Nityananda. This is transcendental. So all devotees were looking like what is going on between Nityananda Prabhu and Krishnadas Goswami says that generally you should not come between when two exalted Vaishnavas they are having some fight. So you should not be judgmental. Otherwise you will end up in trouble. So Advaitacharya says that, oh, what is this Avduta? He has come with Mahaprabhu. He has spoiled my dharma. I am from Brahmin family, and this Avdut, I don't know from where he has come. I don't know what family he belongs to. And now he is in my house. He has contaminated my house. So then Nityananda Prabhu, in anger, he takes some rice and threw it on the ground. And that some rice particle, they touch Advaitacharya's feet. And then he starts dancing in ecstasy. He says, now I have achieved this Avdut, rice has touched my feet, so now I have attained ecstasy. So this is very transcendental. We will never understand all these pastimes. They are very transcendental pastimes. But this incident happened after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So then slowly in Navadvip, people came to know, devotees came to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Shantipur. So many thousands of devotees, they started coming to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, started coming. And of course Vishnu Priya could not come because it was a social norm that a wife cannot meet sannyasi. So she stayed back in Navadvip. But Sachi Mata came to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So she came to the house of Advaitacharya to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees his mother, he completely, starts crying, and he embraces her mother and falls at her feet, and she's also crying. She says, Nimai, what you did? Why did you take sannyas? Why you left me? It is natural, isn't it? For a mother, because see, Sachi Mata, his elder son, Vishwarup, he also took sannyas, never returned back. And now again his second son has taken sannyas. So you can understand the agony of Mother Sachi. So she was crying and she was saying, why did you take sannyas? Why you want to leave me? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also becomes emotional seeing his mother. So she says, I was crazy, I am mad. Somehow in that craziness I took sannyas. But now you have given me good intelligence. Now if you want, I will give up my sannyas and come back home. He said, he was just, doing drama. He was never going to come back home. But then Sachi Mata could understand that. He said, no, now you have taken sannyas. So those days, the society was very strict. If somebody takes sannyas and then comes back home, then what is he called? Anybody knows that word?
Someone is eater of bomb.
Exactly. What is the word for that?
Prashna?
Prashna, okay. It is called Vantashi. It's called Vantashi. Vantashi means one who drinks his own vomit. So, this vomit is compared to the material world. when a person wants to enjoy, he eats more, then the food gets digested. It is so much that he vomits. And then if somebody is a fool, then he will drink again that vomit. Right? That's why the dogs in Sanskrit, you will find the dog, they eat their own vomit. So that's why in Sanskrit they are called swapacham. Swapacham is swapacham. Drinking their own, like licking their. So you find that story also, like in Maharashtra there was a great saint called Gyaneshwar, Nivrutti, you must have heard about him. So his father also took sannyas, but he came back home, so people ridiculed him and then he had to commit suicide, like that. So that time society was very orthodox. And if somebody took sannyas and he comes back home, that is, he will be condemned. Nobody will go to his house and he will be criticized by people. So Sachi Mata, realizing that, she says, no, you can't, now you have taken sannyas. Now how can you come back home? People will criticize you and I can't bear this criticism. So, but only one request I have for you, that don't go to Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is very far away from here. So please, you go to Jagannath Puri. Jagannath Puri is near, near to, compared to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is very far. It is around 1500, 2000 kilometers from Mayapur, Navadip. But Puri, Jagannath Puri is only some, I think, 300, 400 kilometers something. And she said that every year devotees of Navadvip, Mayapur, they visit Jagannath Rath Yatra. Every year they go. So when you will be in Jagannath Puri, I will get your news and the devotees will come back, for they frequently go to Puri. So just by hearing your news, I can maintain my life. Otherwise I will die if I don't hear about you. So this is only my request, that you should, instead of staying in Vrindavan, you should go to Jagannath Puri, not to Vrindavan. Like that. So this request Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Puri. Otherwise he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So what, some point I have missed here? Okay. So this was the main reason why, and then, I missed this point. She also says that you have to stay here for a few days in Advaitacharya house, and till you are here, I will cook for you. Every day you have to eat food prepared by me. So every day, he was there around 15 days, something like that. Because every time he would say, I want to go to Puri, they would say, please, one more day, please stay for one more day. So in this way, they would request Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay, and a lot of devotees would come and meet him like that. But then one final day, he decides, no, it is now enough, is enough. I have to go to Puri. So he says, only few people can come with me, not all. So some of his associates like Nityanand Prabhu, then Mukunda, and few other associates, they go with him. So this was how sannyas pastime took place. And then on the way, they come across one very beautiful place called Remuna. How many of you have heard about Remuna? So in Remuna, there is which deity? Khirchor Gopinath. There is a very beautiful deity of Khirchor Gopinath. So there what had happened was that when you go to that temple, you will see that till today, now also, you will find very beautiful sweet rice is offered. Condensed milk and sweet rice is offered to the deities. So when they came there, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they taste that sweet rice, and it was so wonderful, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to dance in front of Khirchor Gopinath. And then in the night when they were sitting in the temple, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrates the story of Madhavendra Puri. Who is Madhavendra Puri? Guru of Ishwara Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru is Diksha Guru, Brahman Diksha Guru was Ishwarapuri. Sannyas Guru is Keshav Bharati. So Ishwarapuri Guru is Madhavendra. So Madhavendra was such an elevated soul that he would never ask anybody any food. If somebody gives food, he would eat, accept it. And if nobody gives him food, he would fast. That was his standard. And whole day he would, chant the holy name. So many times Krishna himself would come and give food to him. And then he would ask that, how you know that, he would come in the form of a coward boy, something, not directly. And in the dream, then he would appear. So then he would come to know actually Krishna came and gave food to him. And then that coward boy would say that the ladies who were, drawing water, they saw that you were sitting for a long time and they saw you have not eaten anything, so they sent food for you. Right? So it was a culture, village culture, when the ladies, they would go to get water and when they would see some sannyasi, or they would send some food for the sannyasis. So when he comes, Madhavendra had, when he was traveling, he was a traveling mendicant. So when he came to Gopinath, Khirchor Gopinath, that time when he saw that sweet rice was being offered to Khirchor Gopinath, so he just thought that, oh, I have heard a lot of glories about this sweet rice. Maybe, if I could taste that sweet rice. But he felt so offensive, like, oh, I am such a wretched soul, I am so fallen. Lord is taking, and I was thinking of eating it. It is an offense, isn't it? Suppose, you have prepared nice bhoga, and before offering to the Lord, you are thinking, oh, I will eat it after. So it should not be like that. So Madhavendra was thinking, oh, it is very bad. I thought of eating. So he immediately laments and he goes away from the temple and sits somewhere else in the city. But when pure devotee, he desires something, then Lord has to fulfill it, isn't it? So that day when the Pujari had offered 12 pots of sweet rice, so one pot of sweet rice, Gopinath, he steals. That's why his name became Khirchor Gopinath. So then in the night, that Pujari had a dream, and he said that you offered me 12 pots of sweet rice, but only you collected 11 sweet rice, because one pot of sweet rice I had hidden. I have hidden it for my devotee Madhavendra Puri. So I order you to take this pot which I have hidden to Madhavendra, because he wants to taste this sweet rice. And immediately he wakes up, he says, what is happening? Gopinath came in this dream, and immediately he went to the altar and he saw that, Gopinath backside, there was a sweet rice pot. So immediately he takes it and runs to where, he was shouting, Madhavendra, where are you? Gopinath has stolen sweet rice for you, please take. Like that. And everybody is hearing what is happening, Gopinath has stolen sweet rice. And he got a little embarrassed, Madhavendra, because his fame will increase, isn't it? When people come to know that Gopinath has stolen sweet rice for him, so then he just take the pot, eat it, and immediately leaves the town, because he didn't want fame. Humble devotee, that is the humility. A devotee never accepts, he doesn't like to be glorified. He doesn't like name, fame, because they are very dangerous. One may become proud because of name, fame. So then, this was how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrates on the way to Puri. Then they go to on the outskirts of Puri. There is one very beautiful temple called Sakshi Gopal. So that temple also, that's also a very beautiful story how Gopal, he came as a witness Nityananda Prabhu narrates the story that how there was a young Brahmana and he was traveling all the places and he met one old Brahmana. So the young Brahmana, he served that old Brahmana so nicely in his yatra. So the old Brahmana, he became very happy and he said, he promised that in front of that Gopal, that I will give my daughter in charity to you. So that's why in our Vedic culture we say Kanyadan. Kanyadan means we are giving our daughter in charity. So that is considered pious activity. Isn't it? So everything, whatever you give, how Vedic culture has made very nice arrangement. Whatever you give, even if you want to give your own daughter to somebody, it is said Kanyadan, you are, and what not only you give Kanya, with that you give some wealth also. So if you give your daughter to a Brahmana and give some gold, it is considered very pious, like that. So the old Brahmana, he promises that young Brahmana that because you served me so nicely, I will give you my daughter in charity. Then the young Brahmana says, no, don't give this promise because you are a rich man, I am a poor man. And now you are giving in front of the Lord, then you have to fulfill that promise. Because when you make a promise in front of the Lord, you have to fulfill that promise. But then, and your family members will not agree. Your sons may not agree. So don't give this promise. But then that time, the Brahmana, old Brahmana says, no, she is my daughter, and she is my property, and I can give it to anybody. This is okay. So he prays to Gopalji, said, now you are the witness. He has given promise. He should not turn away from his promise. So then when they go back to their house, so after a few days, he sees that the old Brahmana has forgotten that promise. Generally many times it happens. We also promise so many things and then we forget our promise. But then the young Brahmana, he comes to the house of old Brahmana and he said, what happened? You had promised me that you will give your daughter in charity. And then he says, then remember, yes. So I will talk with my family members. But then when he talks with his family members, his sons, they oppose it. They say, this boy is so poor. How can we give our sister to this boy? So we don't agree to this proposal. But because his sons were very aggressive, so the old Brahmana couldn't say anything. Then they started arguing that he said, the young Brahmana said, actually he promised in front of Gopalji, and now you cannot turn away from your promise. So then the boy, son of that old Brahmana, said that, what is your qualification? You are so poor and we are so rich. How can we marry our daughter to you, our sister to you? But then he said, what about the promise then? Then he said, you have any witness for that? My father gave you the promise. If we can bring the witness, then we will agree. Then he says that, yes, Gopalji was witness. He gave witness in front of, he gave this promise in front of Gopalji. So then the son, he said, if you can bring that Gopal as a witness, then I will agree, like that. So in this way, he goes to that place and he prays to the Lord. He says, see, now this is the situation. So please come to give witness now. You have heard that old Brahmana promising. So he says, how can I come? I can't come. I am in a DT form. Have you ever heard DT walking? Like that. So then the old Brahmana says that if you can talk, then you can walk also. So he says, now I am in very dharma sankat. I need your sakshi. I need your witness. You have to come. Then Gopalji says, okay, I will come with you, but one Shart is what is it? Condition, yeah. Condition. That you have to feed me every day 1 kilo rice. Okay. And you should not look back. And then he said, then how will I come to know that you are coming behind me? Then he says that you will hear my sound of my nupur. Nupur means ankle bell. You will hear the bell. So in this way they start the journey very nicely. But then when they come to Vidyanagar, there he doesn't hear. It was outskirts of the town. And then he sees back, and Gopalji was there. He said, now I am going to stay here because you looked back. Then he calls all the villagers and he says, this is how Gopalji came, and Gopalji gave witness. That's why his name became Sakshi Gopal. There also, if you go, there is a very beautiful deity, the same deity. So that's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Sakshat Parjendra Nandan ite nahi aan, jeb aage kare pratima hai na pyan. He says the deity, here you see Gaumitra Radha Krishna, the photos, they are Sakshat Krishna, Radha Krishna, Gaumitra is there. Never think that they are, sometimes there was a very beautiful pastime in, he was Gadadhar Pandit, I think his name was Ganga something, I don't remember the name. It was after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, the next generation of Vaishnava Acharyas. So he had very beautiful deities of Nityananda and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So he was so pure devotee that the deities would come alive and play with him. Like that. So then one day he decided that the deities decided not enough of play, now we will remain as deities. Like that. So what happened now? They started going. Deities were there and they started going like that. So he said, no, please don't go, you stay like that. So they became deities and the deities became alive and they started going. So he said, no, you don't go, you stay here like that. So in this way, by this pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that the deities are as good as because absolute. Because Krishna is absolute or God is absolute, so his deities are also absolute. Anyway, so in this way, the Nityananda narrates this beautiful story of Sakshi Gopal. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda all they enter Puri. From long distance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees the chakra. How many of you have visited Puri, Jagannath Puri? Please raise it. Only one. Two. Okay. So you are missing something. So when you go to India, please visit Jagannath Puri. It's a very beautiful temple and it's so high that from something like 10 kilometers away, you can see the chakra. You can see the chakra. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the chakra, he became so ecstatic. He started running like a madman, just running after that. And I also remember, I would like to share one of my experience. So fortunately in 1998, I recently had joined the ashram and there was Puri Yatra. My Guru Maharaj, Raghavan Maharaj, he took us to Puri Yatra. That was where I first received Guru Maharaj mercy. Actually, how I will tell you. Just want to share with you. So there were something 50 buses. We were on the road, and Guru Maharaj was traveling in the car on the front. Behind him there was the whole entourage. So we were in the first bus because we were brahmacharis. So brahmacharis had special, what do you say? Priority, prerogative? Privilege. Privilege, sorry. Privilege. So when Maharaj saw the first, that chakra, he stopped. He wanted to, because he was in that Chaitanya Leela. So he wanted to tell the story how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from this place, he ran when he saw the chakra first. So Maharaj got down from his car, and when we saw that Maharaj has got down from the car, we also got down from the this thing. And immediately it was a rule that when we used to get down, so the mic system, the mobile mic system, they would come and they would give to the singer, whoever is the singer, he would start doing kirtan. So those times, Swarup Damodar Prabhu, you must have heard, he has a very beautiful voice, very melodious song. So he was a very established singer that time. And I was just new, but learning music and all like that. But then he was in some 4 or 5 buses behind. So come there, he could not come there quickly. And Maharaj wanted kirtan, so he saw me and he said, "You start kirtan." Like. So I started the mobile mic system. The in charge, he gave me the mic and I started doing the kirtan. But then Swarup Damodar, he was established. So when he came, so somebody give the mic to him. He's senior and he sings more better than you, so he has to sing. So I humbly gave the mic to him. But when Maharaj saw it, I gave this mic. Immediately Maharaj said, "No, this boy will sing." So the mic again came back to me, and I was so happy. I was the first Maharaj recognized. Then I sang there, and all the congregation, they came, and it was very wonderful. I had a wonderful experience of chanting the holy name, and we could see the chakra from there. So Maharaj told this story of how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw that chakra, he ran like a madman. Nobody could stop him. Everybody was behind Nityananda Prabhu, and they could not see. He was like a lightning. He started running, and he went to the temple inside the altar, and he embraced Jagannath. And seeing Jagannath, embracing Jagannath, he fell unconscious. He was developing that ecstasy, Krishna prem, ecstasy. And all the pandas and all the pujaris, you can see in India, when you go to different temples, traditional temples, you will find a lot of pandas and pujaris around the deities. So when immediately they couldn't understand who is this man, who is this person who is like a madman, he is shouting Krishna, Jagannath, like that. He could not properly like that. He was chanting in ecstasy, and he is embracing. He is climbing on the altar. You can imagine he climbed on the altar and embraced and fell down unconscious. And so all the pujaris, they came with a stick to beat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But fortunately, there was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he came and he said, "Oh, don't beat him. He is not an ordinary person." Because he could see that this person is so wonderful. He has so huge arms, golden color, and he is a young sannyasi. So he stops because he was the head pujari of that Chaitanya temple. So he said, no, please don't beat him. And he took a cotton swab, you say swab, small piece of cotton, and placed it at close to his nose. He wanted to see is he alive or dead, because he could not figure out what had happened. And then he just saw that that cotton swab was just moving little bit. From that he could understand, my God, this is manifestation of Krishna prem. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was very learned in scriptures. So he knew all the scriptures. But he was a Mayavadi. He was following Shankaracharya, Advaita philosophy, Shankara philosophy. But he knew everything about the Shastra. And when he saw that the symptom is of Krishna prem, so immediately he protected him, and he told some of the devotees, his pujaris, he said, "I want to take him to my house." So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he takes him to his house, and there when he comes to his external consciousness, there he understands, now he is in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. And then he feels very sorry. He says, "Oh, what I did, I just went and embraced." So then that time he promises Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that I will never enter the altar. So next time when I go for darshan of Jagannath, I will take darshan from Garuda Stambha. So even today, if you go to that temple, if you go to the Garuda Stambha, there you will find the fingerprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the stone would melt when you touch, because of Krishna prem, the stone would melt. So that's why there were fingerprints on that stone, like that. So then, of course, there is also a very beautiful pastime. When you used to take darshan from the Garuda Stambha, one day, one old lady, she climbed on the shoulders of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. She climbed, and then the other, that was later on, not just now, but I want to tell the story to make a point here. And then Sarvabhauma Goswami, he saw that this old lady has, climbed over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shoulder. So he started chastising her. Said, get down, what is this? He's Supreme Lord, you are and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please don't chastise her. You see her eagerness. She's an old lady and she's so eager to see Jagannath that she didn't realize that she was climbing on me, on my shoulders. So he says that if I had a drop of eagerness what she has, my life will be successful. So here what Krishna wanted to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to mention is that what is the qualification to attain Krishna Prem? Eagerness. We should be eager to see deities, we should be eager to serve deities. So whenever we go to the temple, we should be very eager to see deities. Like Prabhuji has very beautiful deities in his house, Radha Shyam Sundarji. So whenever you visit his house, make a point that you should visit, go and have darshan of deities. So beautiful deities. So this eagerness will qualify you for Krishna. So then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, so he stayed there for a few days. Some say that he stayed there for 7 days like that. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he started asking that, how is that what is your name? He said, my name is Krishna Chaitanya. And he was saying, you are sannyasi, but you have a name of brahmachari. Krishna Chaitanya. You don't have a name of like Tirtha, Bharti, Puri, or Saraswati. And he said, you are so young and you are so beautiful. You look so beautiful. Why did you take sannyas? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas at the age of 24. Yes, 24. So 24 is very young age, isn't it? So he said, why you took sannyas at the young age? So anyway, now you have taken sannyas, so I will train you how to maintain your sannyas, because at the young age if you take sannyas, it is very difficult to maintain sannyas, isn't it? Because Maya is very powerful. Because generally young boy is attracted to young girl and young girls are attracted to young boys. So if young boy takes sannyas, then he may not able to maintain it. So he was very concerned about that, because in those periods there was no returning back, Here sometimes people take sannyas, sometimes they take saffron and then they change, they get married, nobody cares. Like that. But those times were very orthodox times. That if somebody would take sannyas and if he falls down, then they were criticized so much, heavily criticized. It would be like Vantashi, like that. So he said he started giving him lessons, and because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sannyasi, he gave him a raised platform, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would sit on the lower platform. and he was then instructing on Vedanta Sutra. You know, everybody knows Vedanta Sutra. So, what is the first verse of Vedanta Sutra? No, Prabhuji, you are Pandit. You should not. You know everything. Sorry, please forgive me. Last is your chance because you give all the answers. You know everything, right? Okay, I want to just. Exactly. So Prabhuji gave the answer. What is it? Loudly? Everybody heard? How many? No. The first verse is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. What is that? Does that mean? And one should inquire about the absolute truth, Brahma. Who am I? Like that. So he starts narrating all the Vedanta Sutra, and so in Vedanta Sutra, Shankara. Who is Shankara? Shankara. He was also Shankaracharya was called Shankara. So he was Advaita philosophy. So he starts describing that how after writing all the Vedas, Vyasdev was into illusion, Brahma. And in this way he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, where he described pure devotional service. But actually he says Jnana Marga is Sreshta. Impersonal Brahman is higher. But all this Mayavad philosophy he is describing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just listening. He is not speaking anything. So after 7 days, then Sarvabhattacharya starts wondering that I am so much, teaching you so many things, but you are not responding anything. You are not speaking anything. Are you able to understand what I am teaching you? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts, he says, what the Vedanta Sutras are clear like sun. Today evening I saw the sun, so beautiful sun was setting in the horizon. Because here the sun was setting at 7:30. Never we saw. And here also it becomes very big. The disk becomes that much big. You don't see in India. So it was a very beautiful scene. So he says that the Vedanta Sutras are like sun, bright like sun, but your commentaries on Vedanta Sutra is like the cloud on the sun. So I am not able to see the sun, Your commentaries are like cloud. And Sarvabhattacharya is completely shocked. He said, what is this? You are criticizing my commentaries. Like, Shankara is, Lord Shiva. How can you, say that Shankara is wrong? Impossible. Nobody had the audacity, Only few people had the audacity to say Shankara was wrong. That was Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya. Nobody dared. They wrote so many commentaries on Vedanta Sutra and they defeated the philosophy of Advaita. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also starts explaining. It's a very exhaustive, so we will very briefly explain that how Shankara was ordered because there was Buddhism to drive away Buddhism and again establish the Vedic culture in India. So Adi Shankaracharya, he came and he promoted this Advaitavad. So from Shunyavad to Advaitavad. What is Shunyavad? Zero. Isn't it? Shunyavad is zero. And then Shankaracharya said, no, everything is not zero, everything is one. Right. And Madhvacharya said, no, everything is not one, it is two. So that's why you will find Madhvacharya's photograph. How many of you seen Madhvacharya's photograph? You have seen? So you have seen his hand? Yeah, you will see that photograph there after Vyasdev. His hand is like this. What that indicates? Two. This big finger indicates Ishwar. Jiva and Ishwar are different. So that is called Tattvavad. Advaita Vad, Tattva. So, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, then he explained Sarvabhattacharya that how this is Advaita Bhedabhed Tattva. So we living entities are in quality same, right? But different in quantity. You understand the difference? We are also Satchitananda. Krishna is also Satchitananda. But what is the difference? We are Satchitananda but very minute. Anu. And Krishna is unlimited. Vibhu. Like this. Okay, so this is how he delivered. There was a big discussion and there was also discussion about Atmaram verse. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him that, okay, Atmaramastamino Nigranti Api Urukrame Utham Bhuto Gunahare, that verse is there, Bhagavatam verse. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that Vyasdev has written Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So who is the author of Vedanta Sutra? Vyasdev. And he knows the best about his book. How can Shankara says that he was in illusion when he writes? So Srimad Bhagavatam is natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So he proves it how. That the first shloka, Janmadasya Yatham Vyadi Karaschatreshya Vigneswara Tene Brahma Adhikave Muhyanti Sab Tejo Vari Mudam Yatha Vinimoyo Yatrapi Sarvamusha Dhamma Svena Sudam Nirasta Kurkam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Satyam, who is that Supreme Lord? Satyam Param, he is that Supreme Lord. Dhimahi, Dhimahi means I meditate on that Supreme Lord. So, by this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proves that how the Srimad Bhagavatam is natural commentary on on Vedanta Sutra. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was delivered. There was already so much, 1 hour I spoke, but I want to only little bit. I wanted to narrate so many pastimes, but can you bear little more 10 minutes? Or should I end? 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes. Okay. So then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Puri, so lot of devotees they join him, like Swarup Damodar Goswami. He was also roaming here. And then when he comes to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Puri, he joins him. He is also very great soul. He is said to be Lalita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna, Ramananda Rai is Vishakha, Swarup Damodar is considered to be Lalita in Krishna Lila. So then, you know where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying in Gambhira. So that was the house of Kashishwar Mishra. So Kashishwar Mishra, he used the house and today also if you go, there is the place in Puri, just very nearby to Jagannath Puri. There is a house, very beautiful house, and there is Gambhira called, a very small room where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to stay there. And then devotees would join there and have Sankirtan, Krishna Katha there in the house of Kashishwar Mishra. And then one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feels that he should go to South India because he said that I am not come here to just stay in Puri. I have to deliver so many people. So then he tells the devotees that I want to go to South India because I want to search where is my elder brother Vishwarup, because Vishwarup had taken sannyas. So I want to go and find him. So then again devotees say, please go tomorrow, like that. So again it got delayed. And one day he says, no, this time I am going and nobody is coming with me. I am going alone to South India. Then Nityananda Prabhu says, no, I am coming with you. He says, Nityananda, you can't come. Because when I wanted to go to Vrindavan, when I took sannyas, that time you broke my danda and threw it in the and you directed me towards Shantipur. So if I take you, you will again bring me back here. So I could not take you. Then he says that If I take Gadadhar Pandit, he is so sensitive when I will sleep on the floor. When he sees me doing austerity, he feels very sad. So I will not take him. So then he starts saying, I will not take him this like that. Then Nityananda says, okay, now take one person because you will be chanting the mantra Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the hand. Somebody has to hold your kamandalu. So I have a very nice person. His name is Kala Krishna Das. You take him. He will assist you. He will not speak anything. You do your job. He will just assist you. He will take. He will cook for you like that. So he says, okay, I will take him like that. So Kala Krishna Das and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu they go on South India tour. Then Sarva Bhattacharya says that when you go to South India, when you go to Rajamundri, there is a very beautiful place in Andhra. There and at the banks of Godavari. So you please go and meet Ramananda Rai. Because Ramananda Rai is a very great devotee of Lord Krishna and he is very expert in the pastimes of Vrindavan. So you hear Vrindavan pastimes, the love of gopis to Radharani, the love of gopis to Krishna from Ramananda Rai. So then he, when he goes to this South India, the first thing is he meets Ramananda. So Ramananda Rai was actually the governor of Pratapgarh, like that, and he was the governor of that province there. So when he came on the banks of Godavari, there Ramananda Rai met, and when they saw each other, so naturally they had an attraction. So there they sat and they spoke all this nice pastimes. So Ramananda Rai was telling all the Vraja. So that is very nicely described in the. We will not go in detail because it's very exhaustive. But he describes all the nice pastimes that how and he glorifies how Radharani's love for Krishna is the topmost. So in this way. Then next he goes to Srirangam. There he delivers Vasudev. You know who is Vasudev? Vasudev was a leper. So, sorry, not Vasudev, sorry. There was a illiterate Brahman. And it may sound little this thing, that how can a Brahmana be illiterate? But somehow this Brahmana could not able to read and write. So that's why all other Brahmanas would criticize him. But his guru had told him that he should read Bhagavad Gita every day. So then when he used to read Bhagavad Gita, tears would come from his eyes. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that other Brahmanas were criticizing him because he could not pronounce the Bhagavad Gita mantra properly, so they would laugh at him. They would criticize him that he could not chant properly the mantra. But then he went to that Brahmana and he asked that, see, you are not able to properly pronounce the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, but still, how come that you have tears in your eyes? And all these Brahmanas are criticizing you. So, why you have tears in your eyes? So then he said that actually my Guru Maharaj has given me order to read every day Bhagavad Gita. I don't know to read at that, but my Guru Maharaj had told, so I am following that thing. And when I take Bhagavad Gita in my hand, I immediately see remember that how Supreme Lord, he became a chariot driver for his devotee, and that brings tears in my eyes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that even if you are illiterate, you have achieved this perfection of life because you have understood the essence, the faith in the Lord, the faith in the scriptures. That is very important. So then the other pastime happens is that his assistant Kala Krishna Das, they were in jungle, and jungles there were some Bhattahari tribes. So they saw this Kala Krishna Das was nice, handsome, Brahmin boy, young. So they wanted him, so that they wanted to increase their population by his this thing. So they wanted to capture him. So they put a spell on him. So when he wanted to go, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, he didn't go with them. But when in the night, when the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Kala Krishna Das were taking rest in some underneath a tree, so at night, Kala Krishna Das leaves Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and goes to the camp of Bhattaris. And there, he is being fed nicely and like that. These tribal people they feed. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to know that Kala Krishna Das is not there and he has gone to the Bhattari camp, so immediately he goes to that Bhattari camp and catch hold of Kala Krishna Das and drags him. He says, "What are you doing? You have to come with me, And the Bhattaris became very angry. They said, "How can you take this man? We have captured him like that." So they took their spears and they wanted to kill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They threw spears on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who can kill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He was Supreme Lord. So in turn, what happened? All the spears they took a U-turn and the spears they killed themselves actually. So in this way, Kala Krishna Das was rescued. So when they came back, so he chastised. He said, "Nityananda, this man, he did like this. He went away with Bhattaris. Now take care of him, like that." So Nityananda thought that, "Oh my God, now Mahaprabhu is angry with him. How he will lose mercy?" But he said Nityananda is more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said, "You go to Navadvip and inform everybody that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has returned to Puri." So in this way he got mercy of devotees, and when you get mercy of devotees, then you get mercy of Krishna. Like that. So anyway, there are many pastimes. So I would like to, I wanted to narrate Jagannath Puri Ratha Yatra, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu organized Jagannath Ratha Yatra. Maybe I will continue this lecture when I get again next time the chance to speak. So I will continue with this. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.